gonna wait till people join. Merchandise coming.
You still over the top.
Safety first. How you guys like the new masks? Who's gonna order some? Who knows? It could be in your future housewarming gifts. And of course, I'm wearing the white one.
What is in your drink? What is it?
We're off to a good start. All right. What's going on, guys? Hope all is well.
Well,
shit, I need a t-shirt. Well, you need a mask too? Your girl.
Ray London.
Ray London.
You know I'm not doing my whole show.
Nah, we're just showing you. We got the new GreatHomesATL masks. Now we're excited that we ordered these. So hey, you gotta brand yourself, right?
So first up, cheers.
Cheers. What are you drinking and what am I drinking? I didn't even see what you put in my glass.
I made you a baby drink of Ciroc and juice.
Okay. Ciroc and juice. It sounds like a baby juice.
Well, I told you I made you.
Because it has juice in it.
Summer watermelon and juice. And then I made myself whiskey and whiskey. So
whiskey on the rocks?
Whiskey on the rocks. Double. I think this is more like a triple, but it is what it is.
All right. So we stepped it up a little bit here. What do I see behind here? You actually, he's always surprising me, but one of the things, I guess, I don't know if this is a vanity thing or what, or just better lighting.
Better lighting. I kind of did it for myself low key, but.
Oh, for you, for the Cocktails with Curt show. Well, we got one of those ring lights now. We really stepped up the production.
Right. But you know what? I think that's why people tune in, because we give them raw,
real look into our lives.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of filter over here, so I think that's why people come back.
And I think, as you guys can see in the background, we did a video. Was it earlier in the week or last weekend?
I think we filmed that.
It was like last Sunday. Yeah.
It's funny because
you could see the built-ins, right?
Yeah, we always filmed it before it's posted, so I'm like, I think we filmed that like a week ago, but I don't know when you posted it.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Right. So we had family in town for a couple weeks. We had Curt's mom and brother, and guess who's now part of the Atlanta family? Your brother has moved down.
How are we just gonna shout out? We put all our business
out there,
right?
Shout out to your brother.
My brother moved down here. He accepted a position with a great company.
Yep.
He is a CDL truck driver. So
exciting! Cheers to Eric. Eric, if you're watching, cheers
to him. Yeah, so we're excited to have family down here. It's really just been us.
Yeah.
In terms of family, so it's always good to have that bit of familiarity or that closeness.
Yeah.
Back with you. So
yeah, no, it's great to have them down here back in Atlanta. So hopefully you guys enjoy some of the videos I did this week. I talked a little bit about the pre-approval process, what to expect from that. I think I did videos on what it would be like if you turned 25 years old and started investing in real estate. I think I got a lot of positive responses.
I think there's a lot of young people that have a different mindset than what I had at 25. Like, in a good way. Good way. I think there are more young people now that are aware of the opportunities that are ahead of them if they position themselves right early on. And I know when I was 25, I was thinking more like the club, like my mind wasn't credit cards, swipe. And I look back and I wish that 41-year-old me.
Well, you gave out your age.
I'm 41. I'm proud of that. So
cheers to that.
Cheers to being 41.
Cheers to 41.
So I think I would tell 41-year-old me would tell 25-year-old me, like, don't swipe. And if you're gonna swipe, be able to pay that back, because a lot of people have gotten into trouble and still get into trouble because of swipe.
Yeah.
And then when they become 41 or whatever, then they're ready to buy a house, but then it's like, actually you have to pay for all those mistakes that you made at 25. So shout out to the 25-year-olds that are getting their credit together, already have it together, looking to get into investments and things like that. Shout out to all of them. I think
I agree. It's never too late, but it just was an example. It was a video I did just to show you how investing in real estate early on in your life can just really change the trajectory of, setting yourself up for retirement and all that good stuff. But we're going to open it up to questions tonight. Kurt's going to, look on his phone and read off any questions that you guys have. So, get those questions ready. You'll just ask away in the comment section. But while we're waiting on those, in the meantime, and just keep track of the questions coming in.
Yep.
I want to congratulate Chris, who went under contract for his new townhouse he's building up in Kennesaw. This week coming up, we have Shani that's closing on Friday on her brand new home over in Fairburn. We've got Dexter, Justin, Dana, Erica, Isabel, Diana, all coming up. So a lot of people entering the Great Homes ATL families. I did a heck of a lot of shopping this week, and I got more to do.
Just this week?
Just this week.
Somebody's asking the question, I saw it come up twice, that we have ranch homes. So we are buyer agents and brokers here in Atlanta, meaning that we can find you whatever your pre-approved budget qualifies you for. So if you need help, if you need a pre-approval, definitely send us your name, email, and phone number in the DM and let us know that you want to go for your pre-approval, and then we can take the conversation from there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people actually in the DMs. They're like, "Do you have any listings in a certain zip code?" And again, just to clarify, guys, like, we can find you anything you're qualified for. It's great, actually. That was something that came up this week that was really frustrating. Is we got, I think, 2 people that were pre-approved, but they didn't know anywhere they wanted to live.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know that I've gone off or a lot about that. I think one of the things that people have to realize is this: when you reach out to a real estate agent, realtor, broker, sales agent, whatever you refer to us as, I think you have to come to the table and help us help you.
Yeah.
So if you're coming to the table and you have a pre-approval, but you have literally no idea where you want to be, like, don't put that responsibility on your broker or your real estate agent, because it really isn't for us to tell you what area best fits you. It's for you to kind of give us that, and for us to find you the property that...
It's much easier, like, to find, like, if you say, "Hey, Mark, Kurt, we're looking in Smyrna, Marietta, Powder Springs. Those are 3 areas. This is my pre-approval. This is my price point. This is how many bedrooms and baths. The style of home. You just said about ranches. Yeah. Is it a ranch? Is it a 2-story? Is it a basement home? Then we can look it up for you and narrow it down. So, just follow that process. And it would be good.
So we did get a question from my biggest fan, Ray London.
Ray London. Cheers to Ray.
Cheers, Ray. What do you do to keep from going house poor? Excuse me.
What's some advice you could give?
I would say don't.
This is actually a really good question because we've been furniture shopping and building things.
I think but I think people could fall into pitfalls before they even close on the house.
Yeah, I agree.
And here's why I say that, because if after your pre-approval, so you get, you'll get to see what the estimated monthly payment's going to be. Mm-hmm. If you know that monthly payment that you're about to take on is at the high end of what you can really afford, you're taking the risk. I'm not going to say you're guaranteed to be house poor, but you're taking on the risk that if there's a slight change in your income, you could be in that house poor range, right?
Yeah.
So I think even before you close on the house, you really have to know your numbers and understand the numbers when you get your pre-approval and your estimates up front, because what you don't want to do is embark on a new situation like home ownership and you're already constantly fighting to stay afloat because you came in at the highest end of what your budget would allow. Yeah. So you didn't give yourself any room for a cushion if your income were to change, if any of those things happen. So I think first advice would be know your numbers, make sure that the house that you're getting is a house that really is something that is affordable to you.
Yeah.
I would also say,
I think one of the lessons we learned, because we had another house prior to this, and once you say, like, there's nothing wrong like taking on a project like finishing a basement,
right,
doing a fence, stuff like that. But before you do the next big project, pay that off. I think that's a lesson learned, is that you can get caught up putting too many things on credit after you buy a house. You're just like, oh my God, I worked so hard to get this great credit score to get the house. And then you're like, oh shoot, I got to furnish the house. And then you start buying things like, you're thinking 0% furniture for 5 years, but 5 years is a long time. And if you miss a payment, you get caught in that
most of the
trap.
time too, it's crazy because most of the time when people buy furniture, especially furniture for that matter, and I hope this doesn't make us seem bougie, but when people buy furniture, 9 times out of 10, at least in our case, like if you were to get in a situation where you were financing furniture for 5 years, I know for us, we switch our furniture out like every 2 to 3.
2 to 3 years.
So you end up paying finance on something that you either A, are forced to keep for 5 years because you're still paying it off, or you end up paying. It seems.
And then when you go to try to sell it, you
don't
can't
get
sell
that.
it.
You can't sell it.
Now you don't get half of what you paid for.
Nowadays, because furniture I think comes at all price points, kind of like cars. So you can get like a low end car or a luxury car, but on the entry level models, kind of like furniture too. So I feel like now reselling furniture, you don't get it back dollar for dollar. Yeah.
So my advice too is like, so many times people are just interested in just qualifying for a house and they get so excited, or they want, there's a lot of times people will say like, I have to have a 5-bedroom house, and they don't even have kids yet, right? And they don't think about, oh shit, I gotta, excuse my language, but
excuse me, this is Cocktails with Curt.
I'm sorry about that.
Excuse my language.
Oh shit, man.
Right. Excuse what language, please? The fuck?
The fuck? The fuck?
About?
No, so like you just can't overextend yourself. That's the key. Is like, who's gonna furnish those 5 bedrooms?
And
right?
be real with yourself.
Be real with it.
That's the thing. Be real with yourself, because a lot of times we'll tell ourselves what we can afford, and we'll start saying, "Well, I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll start doing this and I'll stop doing this," and you're just telling yourself that to justify it in your mind, but you know that you shouldn't be doing that. If you have to do that much, talking yourself into why you
should I do this?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
So yeah. More questions. So hopefully that answers it to you. Like, it's really up to you, like Curt said, up front, to make sure like you're not at the top end of your budget. Just because somebody qualifies you for a $400,000 mortgage, that might be a very affordable mortgage, to people. Like, they actually could go $500-$600. But there's other people that, while they qualify for $400, but they didn't think about the furniture, their car stuff, that they're going to change out to a new car after they move. Is there going to be lawn care, HOA, stuff like that?
Right.
So you can, trust me, you can definitely get into trouble being house poor. That's why we always stress about the reserves, the preparing for your down payment, the closing costs.
It just popped in my head, and maybe it's the brown juice talking, and it does happen. So I think another really, really easy way that people become house poor is because they're buying a house for them to live in, but it's really for what their friends and family think.
That happens all the time.
That's one of the obvious, but I guess the brown juice is hitting. So I speak what the sauce says.
Watch out, guys.
But it's serious, and we do have a lot of clients. We've had a lot of clients, and I think we always get a few where they'll come to the table with what they want. Yeah. But then somewhere along the process of what they want, they started asking their friends and family for feedback.
Yes.
And then their friends and family start suggesting, well, why would you want that? Or why would you want to be there where this over here would be better? Or this over here is
why would you even think about moving to that side of town?
Right. And then what happens is, so then they go from shopping for what they want to now they have all these like, my mom said this, my friend said that, my cousin said that. And then they end up getting into a situation where, well, the reason why we weren't shopping there is because that probably wasn't in your pre-approved budget, or that wasn't within your budget.
Yeah, so you could get into trouble.
Or you get in trouble that way, because then you start stretching yourself.
Stretching your budget.
You start making things happen. Like, I'm gonna stretch myself. Yeah. And you do that, and at the end of the day, when that mortgage payment hits, you can call your mom, your friend, your sister, and all those wonderful people who had those suggestions around why you shouldn't stick with what you wanted, and see if they help you with that monthly payment.
That's true.
See if they stop you from being house poor. So
that's one of the biggest advices I could say is like, don't don't listen to family and friends. I mean, it really can get you in trouble. Know your budget. Know what you feel comfortable with.
Yep.
If you've been renting an apartment in Buckhead and Midtown, stuff like that, trust me, people are going to say like, why are you moving to the south side? Why are you moving to the east side, the west side, whatever the case may be?
I wanted to own something.
Because I wanted to own something.
Because I wanted to own
and I wanted
something.
something that I could afford. And as you saw in my videos, if you do it right, by the time you retire, you'll be a millionaire. Yeah. So, what kind of questions else?
I got a question here. It's not a question. If a builder charges extra for a 210 warranty, is that a red flag? Or is that common for them? Yeah, I've never seen that.
I never heard somebody charge a 210 warranty.
Usually the 210 warranty is built into the sales contract of the new construction.
I would say that's a red flag.
Yeah.
In new home construction, it's typical for a builder to offer a 1-year warranty. And for anybody that doesn't know what a 210 is, 210 means 2 years on the electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. So all your major components. Mm-hmm. You'll also get like your HVAC, your appliances. You have to individually register those. And that warranty usually is like somewhere like 5 to 10 years on some appliances and even the HVAC. I think ours was just 10 when we registered ours.
Like that, yeah.
And so that first 2 years, if your air conditioning is not coming on, not blowing, cool air out, the heat's not doing it, if your outlet's not working, like you just call the number, the contractor, and you're covered under that 210. Usually the builder does pay for that. And then 10 years on the actual structure. That means like if there's major cracks or something that formulated in the foundation or on the side of the house, you're covered. And that's one of the advantages, like a lot of our buyers go the new home route.
I think it's a comfortable route, I would say.
Yeah, you can. And I think people are surprised, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to afford new. You're not going to be able to afford new custom, new buying a piece of land and then building on it. But if you build in a subdivision that has a developer and a builder, it's just like buying a resale home.
And I think actually,
same process.
I know we were kind of having just open discussions tonight. I didn't really come to the table with any set agenda.
Yeah, it's just chill.
But you said something, and I know we've been getting a lot of inquiries around people that want to build custom versus people that would like to build in a community that perhaps is semi-custom or just a choice between several floor options. And
a friend actually called us this week that was thinking about buying land.
I think what people don't understand is that, so if you choose to buy a plot of land that let's say you want to build a home on, there's a lot of due diligence that you have to take before you even get to building a house. Right. You need to do soil test, erosion test.
I think you even have to do like a pre-appraisal.
Yeah.
You have to, like, if it's a piece of land that like is by itself, you have to develop that land, which means tractors, grading out, clearing out trees, putting underground utilities, possibly putting up a septic tank, which is your waste, or setting it up to public water.
Right.
Think about that, guys. Think about the cost.
And I think it's a good topic because I'm finding that there are more people that are probably watching too many HGTV shows and thinking that it's just so easy to do.
I want to build my house.
I want to build my house. And the reality of it is, before you even put the first stake in the ground to frame your house, you could have spent upwards of $100,000 just to prep the land, just to get that land developed. Whereas the alternative that a lot of people take, our clients do, is they find builders who already have purchased the land or developed that land, and
they give you a set amount of floor plans.
Right, and in some cases, they even allow semi-custom floor plans.
Some of them do.
Certain, some builders do, and I think we always try to encourage our clients that, inheriting less of the financial risk of a project for most people that are just working hard and you hold your money close. Don't go the avenue where you take on all of the financial risk, and as things happen, and they always do, you're the one stuck holding the bag, and you're the one that's financially responsible for all of it.
I mean, as an example, guys, what would have happened, especially because ironically that question comes up a lot with first-time home buyers. And they're like, well, what if I wanted to buy my land and build on it? What's that process like? And again, to me, it's definitely not for first-time homeowners. It's not even, shoot, we even looked into it before we decided to build in the community ourselves because, like Curt said, say the land's $50,000. You're going to either have to come up with $50,000 or finance that piece of land. Like Curt said, then you have to find an architect, a builder. You have to, like, you're not just going to a strict design center. You're going all over the place. It could take you 2, 3, 4 years, and guess who's paying for that all that time?
Right. I mean, you start
the
talking
buyer,
about
not the developer, not the builder.
I mean, you start taking out loans and interest only loans or hard money loans, whatever you're using to finance it.
Yeah.
Typically, the rate is a lot higher than what we're seeing in as far as traditional mortgage interest rates go.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So you're paying that regardless of what's happening or not happening with that project.
Yeah. So just as an example, say you're building a house by yourself. It has to start by laying down the utilities and set up. You're going to pay for that. Then the foundation has to be laid, right? You're going to be paid for that. But you're paying the interest along the way.
But guess what?
Each
in a whole week or 2 weeks, it rained or it did something, so you can't. You're laying the foundation is delayed,
and then the electrical people can't get on the ground.
But guess what? But that money, that payment is still due every single month.
Yeah.
So
you do want to go like somebody just asked a question. Are builders the same as the big names we know? Toll Brothers, Beazer Homes, yeah.
There are a lot of
actually what they are big national builders,
right?
And like I was just saying before, that's the direction you want to go. The D.R. Horton, the Pulte Homes, the Beazer Homes,
and there are some smaller independent builders as well.
Yeah.
So
there's local builders like we've sold a couple of Jeff Lindsay's, Beecher Homes, I think we recently did.
Is that Patrick?
That was Patrick Malloy. We've done those. So those are actually people that, I mean, they've been building for years. They have relationships with the bank. They're the ones that are doing what's called the construction loan.
Right.
All you're doing is putting down your earnest money, which could range anywhere from as low as $2,500 to $25,000, depending if it's like a high-end type of builder, like a Toll Brothers or a Patrick Malloy or a Beecher Home, something like that. But if you're building a $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 house, you're gonna have to put probably 5 to 10% down anyways. Yeah. So that's nothing to you. If it's a first-time home, $2,500 earnest money is good enough. So when you could do that, and like I said, I think the next 6 clients that we have closing are all building their homes in a development like that through a builder. I think
it's something to think about. I mean, it's never to tell you what to do or what not to do. It's just that a lot of people that think they want to build a custom home, they don't really understand the whole process. So I think it was just good. It was a good topic to kind of dive into.
So keep the questions coming. I see more people joining and asking questions. So
all right, let's see.
Let's see what we got here.
That's a lot. There's a YouTuber who brought a new build and finishes. I don't think it was a question. Rates went up slightly last week. How do you know when to lock in?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, actually, I talked to one of our lenders today because he's working with one of our clients to run some numbers. Interest rates went up a little bit, but guys, in relative to what they were a year ago,
historically low.
If they were 2.65 and they're 2.85 or even 3 this week.
Yeah.
That's not, number one, a huge difference in your payment. Historically, if you just type in historic interest rates, I did it the other day. In the 70s and 80s, they were at 16, 18, 9%. So when you could get a rate in the 2s and 3s right now, when to lock, that's definitely a conversation to have one-on-one with your lender. But like we were just saying, in a typical new home build, it's about 60 days that you can lock in. Some lenders have 30 days. Right. Some have 90 days.
But keep in mind that there are lenders out there that you're working with, and they do offer like an extended, like a 90-day or even some 120-day.
Yeah.
Make sure a lot of times what they may or may not tell you is you're actually paying for that.
Right.
So
you're paying what's called a point sometimes, or an extended lock rate.
Right.
So rates are hard to actually time.
But I think they'll stay relatively low.
They're predicted to stay.
I think they'll be this low for a while.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the 2s and 3s for a while. At least in the 3s for a while.
For sure. All right, let's see. What if you want to add on or tear down? You could do a
I think it's called a 203K.
203. I was thinking about the
401k.
Sorry.
203K loan offers you, like, say you guys like everything about a house, you know, the price is right, but the one thing you can't stand is like, why did they put these wood panels in this one room, or why did they do this kitchen like this, or it's really dated. You can get what's called a 203K loan, which basically, you know, you have to have an appraiser, an inspector come in and kind of price out what it would be. Mm-hmm. And basically, it's like if you had a $280,000 house and you know it's to be $20,000 to redo a kitchen, you would take the loan out for $300,000.
Yeah.
That's where that 203. It's a very specific loan for that.
Yeah. What guarantees a low interest rate? I mean, it's kind of a...
Well, like, what guarantees a low interest rate, number one, is the highest credit score you could have. 740 or higher.
I interpreted the question wrong.
Right.
But, go ahead.
I think 740 or higher, you're going to lock in, you know, the lowest interest rate, depending on all your other factors, your debt levels and all that kind of stuff. Now, interest rates fluctuate. So you, like we said, people thought because COVID hit, and it was scary there. There was a time when it flung up to, I think, like 5%.
Is that a word? Flung
it
up?
Flung up.
What the hell is flung?
After this drink, it's flung up.
You haven't even had much of it. Your baby drink.
So it flung up to 5%. New word created. But then, you know, the economy, they saw that the unemployment rate went up big time around that time. The interest rates overall started coming down. But interest rates are typically tied to the treasury yield, and that gets too, like, into the weeds. But just know from, you know, us speaking to our lenders and stuff like that, they predict rates are going to stay in 2s and 3s. Now, if you have under a 580 credit score, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to qualify. But
with most lenders.
But you always want to strive for a 680 or higher, and then 740 and higher is the best you can do.
Very good advice, Mr. Broker.
Thank you. I like when you call me that.
What is the latest you should start building? I don't know if I understand the question.
The latest? Yeah. If you could clarify that when you said what's the latest you could start building.
Are interest rates based on credit score? Absolutely.
Interest rates are based on the treasury yield of the economy and your interest, your credit score level.
So I see a rough quote online about how much I could qualify for. Are those accurate? No, not really. The most accurate way, honestly, would be to give a lender, whether it's a credit union person that you deal with, a bank, or we have lender referrals as well.
Yeah.
You want to speak to a lender and be able to actually talk to someone, provide them with, you know, your income, your things like that.
They're going to pull your credit.
They're going to pull your credit, so this way they can tell you effectively this is what you would qualify for. A lot of this stuff.
I think a lot of times, like, we sometimes would get these, like, generic, you've been pre-qualified from random company that you've never heard of. It's probably somebody that's punched in their numbers and said that they made $50,000 and blah, 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 blah. And you really need a lender to deep dive into
what a lot of people
your
do?
file.
You know what a lot of people do?
What's that?
If you're not a W-2, a W-2 employee, and you work for yourself and you're 1099, a lot of times what people don't realize that are, you know, entrepreneurs or business owners is that what you made or what your business is worth is after you paid your debts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I hear people, and we've experienced this through clients that we've had and different things. It's like they do very well in what they do, but they assume that they make $70,000, let's say, and by the time they do their write-offs and so on and so forth, on paper and according to the government, they may have only made $35,000.
And I did a video on that. So let's just put it into simple terms. Say you did really good as a business in 2018 and you made $200,000, right? But you wrote off $100,000 for your employees or tax write-offs. That's what they're making that number off of, $100,000, not $200,000. Say the next year, COVID hit, something bad happened, and you went from making $200,000 to $100,000, and you wrote off $50,000. Then you made $50,000. So they're going to take your $100,000 profit and your $50,000 profit and say, going forward, they estimate you making $75,000 a year. So that's what they're going to base your qualifications off of.
So I don't know. I like this little question because it's between that and the brown juice. It's sparkling.
Keep it going. Yep.
Oh,
I didn't click.
We always click.
11 years.
All right, 11 years. 11 years, really.
Yep.
I put up with him for 11 years.
11 damn years.
Anyway.
It feels like though.
Oh really? Oh really?
I put my mask on. No,
so stupid. Let's see. What's this question? Does credit score matter? I guess from the difference between a 700 and a 750. And I know you love to break down this category, so you can go ahead.
Yeah. It wouldn't. In the big picture of things, it's not going to matter that much. Like if a 740 or higher credit score gets you a 2.65 and you have a 700 credit score, it might be 2.85. You know, like it's not going to be dramatic change. Rates are so low. Yeah. If obviously your ultimate goal is to get the absolute lowest, go 740 or higher. But that shouldn't stop you. Like if you've gotten a 680 or higher, I would say, and you got everything else in order, don't like kill yourself to get the 740.
You'll get a good, because the rates are so low, so you'll be fine.
And they're going to take, again, for anybody that's not, we've talked about credit a lot. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, those are the 3 credit bureaus. They're going to take the middle score of those 3.
Yep. Do veterans getting a VA loan automatically get lower rates, or does it still depend on credit? It still depends on credit. Because actually we've had VAs start a process qualified and run up their credit in the middle of the deal and then not qualify.
Yeah, we had a client earlier this year. He qualified, or I think the lender tried to actually tell him what to do to get his score up to get a lower interest rate. And it was something as simple as he didn't listen to the advice and actually put like $100 more on his credit than he should have. And his rate dropped, and all of a sudden his interest rate went higher. So yes, as a veteran, it still matters with your credit score. The VA loan, for anybody that's not familiar, if you know any veterans, you're married to any, the VA loan is probably the best loan program out there because it requires no money down, no private mortgage insurance, and sometimes you could roll your closing costs into the mortgage as well. It gets a little tricky with appraisals, so you should always try to save for that. But it's really the best loan program out there.
What's the best process to locate a builder?
A private builder?
I would say, find properties that you like, inquire about them. Most properties you can look at the tax records and find out who the builder was.
Yeah. To me, it's just driving around, looking online. Like a lot of times, because we're in real estate, we sell a lot of homes and stuff like that. So it's just about building relationships. But again, we just talked about the private route. And if you're going to go to a private builder, you're probably most likely going to be responsible for the loan, meaning a construction to perm loan. So just to keep that in mind. It's not for somebody that doesn't have, to me, hundreds of thousands of dollars available to them.
Have you heard of underwriters giving... I got a Sour Patch Kid, sorry. Have you heard of underwriters giving people a problem who haven't paid their loans on the pandemic?
Yeah. What do you mean? A lender told me that underwriting may have questions about it.
Here's the thing. Debt is debt, right? And yes, we do. Everyone is aware of the different forgiveness programs and things like that the government sent out. And I think that during that process, creditors were not allowed to put anything derogatory on your credit.
Right.
So, but I think that period may have ended.
It may have ended.
So what I would say is, if during that period you don't have any derogatory remarks on your credit, I think you're fine.
Right.
But realizing that period is over, if your debt collectors are now starting to report negative credit, then yes, that is going to be problematic while you're trying to get approved for a loan. So
I would just say, as a rule of thumb, we tell people this all the time. As you're preparing to go for a home, and definitely when you're already under contract and going through the loan process, we've had clients that have opened student loans who have gotten new car notes. And guess what? it's either thrown off their rates, their interest rates that they could have qualified for, or they no longer qualify for the home anymore at all. So this is the biggest purchase you guys are going to make. Yep. So when you're looking for a home, you're like 6 months or less from looking at a home, and definitely when you're under contract, that's not the time to also change out cars, to buy furniture on credit, to miss your cable bill. Like, yes, those things are going to be reported to the credit bureau, and underwriters will look at
them.
Yeah.
And next question is, why do I see so many back on the market buyer finance fell through? What can make a deal fall through it once you're pre-approved?
That's a good question.
People not paying attention. And I'm going to have a sip.
Have a sip.
Because this is one of those that, because we had this happen to us last month.
Right.
So, sip.
Let's start with...
No, sip. Cheers and sip. Good question. Thank you.
The key to that word is pre-approved, not approved.
Right. So when you are pre-approved, understanding what that means, that basically means that at the time that you submitted your application for said loan,
this is what you look
you
like.
You've provided your income and all of the other required documents that were needed. They pulled your credit, etc. So at the time of your application, you are pre-approved for the amount that they say to move forward. Now, what would happen from them saying, wow, we're going to let you
borrow $300,000,
and then at the end say, nope, sorry, we're not doing that. Well, let me just tell you.
Let
me just tell you a real life scenario that happened to us about a month ago. So we had a couple. They were dying to get into a house. Had to get into a house by Labor Day, I believe. They wanted to get down payment assistance.
Yep.
They qualified for down payment assistance. But their ratios were so tight. Like if they sneezed wrong, they were like out of the running. Right?
They went to the dollar menu at McDonald's and swiped denied.
Right. So keeping in mind, our lenders told them, keep it clean. Don't sneeze loud. Don't buy. Just let's get this done. So said couple that needs to move by Labor Day, they decide, or the spouse decided that they were going to go buy a car.
I remember now. Yep.
They went and bought a car.
Yep.
A new fucking car. Are you serious?
After they qualified for $15,000.
After they qualified for $15,000 in down payment assistance. Let me say that again. They qualified for $15,000 in down payment assistance, and they were told, keep it clean, don't buy anything on credit, don't get any new ratios, everything is so tight you can't do anything. And they went and bought a fucking car. A fucking car. Are you?
Yeah. So that dollar menu thing times 500, because that's what the car note
This is what dumb shit makes me do. Dumb shit. Like,
these are real life situations.
These are real life situations.
So when you say what can happen, if you have been pre-approved, that does not mean, that's why you still go through loan processing and underwriting and have to go to a
You know what? No, you are too nice. That is the dumbest shit common sense would tell you, if somebody says, listen, I'm going to give you $15,000, you don't even have to come to the table.
No, but this is the kicker. We literally spent 2 months trying to find houses for them when they qualified. And we actually found the house, and we're writing contracts and offers and everything like that. And again, did not bother to say that they
bought a car.
New car shop.
They didn't even tell us that they bought a car. They didn't tell the lender they bought a car. So now we're out here making offers and this, that, and the third. And then the lender's like,
they're gonna be mad at us. They would have been mad at us if they lost their earnest money, right? Yeah.
I mean, the shit that
it happens. It happens. So what can go wrong? A lot.
Dumb shit. But if you keep it clean and you realize that you're in the middle of closing on a very large transaction and you respect that process and are patient, you will go from the pre-approval to the approval and have the keys to your house.
Best advice, if you're pre-approved, do nothing to harm yourself. Pay your bills on time. Do not lose. Like, if you lose your job, right? That would cause the loan to fall through.
Right. I mean,
if you were on the line of just qualifying and you went and racked up Even as something as
Or
simple
you
as
want a fucking car.
I was gonna say Macy's bill.
No, I mean, come on, like really.
Right.
But seriously,
It happens, people.
Think about it this way: when you're pre-approved,
Yeah.
it's based on what you provided at that point in time that you submitted the application, right?
Yeah.
So anything that changes, now if something changes for the better, great.
Right.
But if something changes for the worse,
Yeah.
it is going to impact the process, and you might not be approved. So just keep that in mind.
It's not a done deal till you get those keys
Right.
at the closing table and you sign off on the very last document.
So I think I answered that question of how does it go from pre-approval to a buyer financing fell through.
Doing dumb shit.
That's doing dumb shit. Yep.
People like that. That was funny. Okay, no question. Just wanted to say that you guys are the best two real estate agents. Oh, that's Jonathan. Jonathan, he'll be our neighbor pretty soon. He'll. We just gotta wait for those lots to get released, but can't wait to have you guys in the neighborhood building your brand new home as well. Thanks,
I
Jonathan.
feel like this is gonna be our neighborhood when it's all said
I
and
know.
done.
We about to lock this neighborhood down. It's a Great Homes ATL neighborhood. I just missed the discussion. Thank you all. Research construction to perm. Okay. Planning a wedding while trying to buy a home. Will that affect closing? Planning a wedding? As long as you're not spending money and putting things
But no,
on
that
credit.
doesn't even make sense. If you're planning a wedding in terms of like you have ideas, then no. If you're planning a wedding and you're spending money on it,
yeah.
then yes. Chances are, and I wouldn't even recommend doing that. I would kind of do the wedding first if that's what's most important,
Yeah.
and then planning the home buying after that
Right.
because
Get that wedding money.
any money that you're putting towards a wedding is taken away from the money that could be going towards the home anyway. So
Right.
that would be my advice. Not that she asked me, but I just was giving it
That's
because
just
this content on Curt. That's what you're here for, right? What's your experience with Green River Builders?
They're all right. They're all right. Conyers.
Oh, Conyers. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all right.
Um,
Sip. What's the latest in the year? Should you wait? Is that say? What is the latest in the year? Should
I don't
you
think
allow
it matters. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter the time of
Yeah.
year to start building. Doesn't matter late in the year. It's just a matter of
Getting in at the best time.
yeah. Well, no, just finding the right floor plan, the lot that you like.
Yeah.
So that could be available at any time of year. So as soon as you're ready and you find the right community, you don't have to wait until December or July. Like it doesn't matter. Typical turnaround time to build a home is about 4 months for a slab on average, 5 months for a basement. If it's more as a bigger footprint or certain municipalities, it could be a little bit longer, but on average, that's how long it takes.
Do you recommend adding a pool to your construction loan?
Pools are funny because some people, everybody seems to want a pool, and whenever we post a picture of a house with a pool, it always gets the most reaction.
Yeah.
But people don't understand because we've never had a pool ourselves in our backyard. We've thought about it, but we also had a koi pond.
Yeah.
And what we could tell you is, for some people, a pool is
A headache.
a luxury to have. Other people, it's a headache because you have to put chemicals in it. You have to maintain it. If it breaks, so pools could be great to me to look at. Do they actually bring a value to a property? Maybe high-end properties, but if a community has a pool, I think that provides some value.
But if you just want a pool, you have a family or something,
you're going to be there. Do it for yourself.
Do it for
not
yourself.
For
expecting to get this larger return on it because it doesn't always work out that way.
But I would do people. You might use a home equity line of credit. Like after you bought the house, once you get some equity in the house, they might use that to build their pool as well.
Let's see. I'm new to real estate life and taking my exam pretty soon. Can you give advice? Is it hard the first year, a couple of months? It's hard.
It's hard
10 years
around.
later, 5 years later, it's what you make of it. And I think it's not something that a lot of people think you watch on TV or,
Everybody sees $1 million.
Everybody's just out here making $1 million. It's not that. And I think that what I would tell somebody is, and hopefully this is not you, but if you're getting into real estate because you think it's that, you're not going to last very long.
I would say if you're getting into real estate because for money, it's not the right reason to get into real estate. Money will come once you people find you formulate your brand and everything like that. Doesn't matter if you're with a big name real estate firm. Your money's going to come by word of mouth, referrals, people you connect with, meeting different people and builders and building relationships.
And
but it's not like,
yeah.
It's a 24/7 job. And he laughs at me because I will still be on my phone at midnight answering emails and questions. It's a 24/7, and obviously when you're sleeping, but it's not a Monday through Friday corporate job.
Yeah.
It's you're building a brand in your business. So I think what you could tell from us is we have a passion for it. We have experience with it. We've had colossal successes, colossal failures, and you have to learn from your failures. But we're a brokerage firm, so we'll be building this brand up, for years to come. So as soon as you prove to yourself, and if the Atlanta market's for you, stay in touch with us. And if you're the right fit,
just make a little informal, a little casual.
We're a brokerage firm.
I'm just like, okay, well, can you let me know when we're fishing for new talent? No, I'm just joking.
All right. Give advice.
Let's see.
Divorce.
Never that.
How does the down payment assistance work? Down payment assistance, actually, a lot of the big programs have gone away now because of the whole COVID thing. I think I posted a few times. The Georgia Dream Hardest Hit Fund was a big one for a lot of our clients. Hopefully it comes back in the new year if it was for specific counties. But my biggest advice, and we've talked about this before, is down payment assistance is just that, assistance. But you should already have saved up for it if you qualify because of your ratios, your credit score, and all that. But always have your goal of saving for your down payment and closing costs. If you got a program that helps you with that, but it's really not for somebody that just doesn't have any money.
Yeah, like you have to, when you're calling to buy a house or build a house, like you have to come and have some skin in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, unfortunately to say more often than not, people come to the table with down payment assistance and they don't want to put any, not that they don't even want to, they don't have any skin to put in the game.
Right.
They don't even have, they barely have a paycheck.
Right.
And they're out here talking about they're ready to buy a house. Right. Like, the reality of it is you're not ready to buy a house because if you don't have a sufficient amount of just money saved, prepared to put down for a house, you're not ready because you have to go into that process assuming that you're not going to get any down payment assistance.
Yeah. This is totally different than car shopping, guys, or clothes shopping. Just some very basic stuff. You should always save a minimum of 3.5% for your down payment and a minimum of 3.5% for your closing costs. So always strive for whatever price point, which the lender will tell you. But if in your mind you're thinking I want to buy a $300,000 house, save about 7%, and that could be in the form of a 401k, interest-bearing account, savings, checking, E-Trade account, Fidelity account, anything like that. Right. But just save. Prove to yourself, like Curt said, that you have skin in the game.
And then what happens is when you have skin in the game, and then you say I'm ready to buy a house, and you have
it doesn't limit you.
It doesn't limit you. And then if someone says actually you qualify for some down payment assistance, it's like, isn't that better because now you don't have to use your money toward necessarily the house because you're getting assistance, but maybe you could now go buy that furniture that you would not have been able to buy. Mm-hmm. But if you came to the table with no skin in the game and somebody said, I'll give you down payment assistance, you might get in the house, but you don't have any damn money for curtains. So what was the point of you getting in the house?
Right.
You see the difference? So don't come to the table because somebody's willing to help you get into the house, but don't come to the table saying you're ready because you're really not. Right. That's the reality.
Our whole mission is to get you ready. I've seen so many people that depended on down payment assistance that they lost out on so many homes, or they limited themselves to counties they really didn't want to be in. So make sure you save accordingly because there's a lot of contingencies and very suffocating rules on down payment assistance. So
we got a question. Does our contract allow repayment of services when people do dumb stuff? So actually, funny you should mention that. No, it doesn't because our services are free.
Our services are free. We put that in every post.
And we put that in every single post. So that's why when I go off, It's for a reason. It's like
people are wasting our time.
People are wasting our time, and it's free. It's like we don't like if people do dumb shit, like we talked about earlier. Sorry if you're late joining, but if people do dumb shit, and we're trying to get a deal done, and because they've done some dumb shit, the deal is done. We don't get paid, and we wasted our time, energy, gas, and all of that for nothing. So no, our services are free. Right. We don't get to charge anybody if somebody does dumb shit. They just do dumb shit, and I get to rant about it and talk to y'all. So let's see. They're still on buy a car. If I use my credit card and pay at the right time, does that still affect the possibility of closing?
If I use my credit card. Oh, like when you're under contract?
I mean,
as long as your ratios aren't tight,
yeah. As long as you don't throw anything off. So if you're paying, if you're.
The question is, I think we didn't say it loud enough. What was the question?
The question was, if I use my credit card and pay at the right time, does that affect closing?
No.
And I think not necessarily, as long as you're not throwing off your ratios.
Right.
We talk about your debt to income ratio. So if you go out and put $10,000 in your credit card, just because you make the minimum payment of $200, that could throw off your debt to income ratio significantly.
Right.
So
my advice would be, try not to use credit cards once you're under contract. I just think that you want to be prepared, like we said, because you're going to have to furnish that house. So you want to, if anything, be paying down credit cards, while you're under contract.
What's the average down payment to buy a house? 3.5%.
3.5% is the average, I would say. Yeah.
Does it matter if you buy a cash card? Nope. As long as you have the money to close on your house, it does not matter. Because if you're buying in cash, it wouldn't hit your credit anyway.
Yep.
Have you ever worked with EMC Home Builder?
I've heard of EMC. I think they're pretty good. If you want me to go out, with you to one of their communities, I definitely can. Happy to represent you. What if you guys stumble upon, if you're just driving around, which we encourage you to do, and you stumble upon a new home community that you really like, my biggest advice is just don't go it alone. Like Curt said, it doesn't cost to utilize our services, and you'll have somebody looking out for your best
interest. But caveat that by, that's not if you just drive around in the hood and you just like, oh, let me call Mark because I see this lot.
Right.
Make sure that you're qualified and you're pre-approved. Right. Like I'm gonna put that out there because you will have people out here like, hey, Mark, I'm at such and such, and you told me I can call you. No. Like, make sure you're pre-approved first. And all of that good stuff.
Yeah, we're happy to represent.
Right, because you will open Pandora's box on that. What are your thoughts on building in Mableton? Hot or not? I think Mableton's a cool place.
I like Mableton. I think Mableton's actually coming up a lot. Like for anybody that's not familiar with Mableton, Mableton's part of Cobb County. So it's probably a good choice for somebody that maybe has been priced out of neighboring Smyrna. But I think it's like in level of like affordability. Smyrna would be the most expensive, I would say. Marietta, you could find some deals, and it starts becoming Powder Springs is still up there, and then probably Mableton, and then Austell probably being at the bottom for price-wise for Cobb County.
I was going to say happy birthday to Nick. So
happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday, Nick. Let's give a cheers to Nick. Cheers. Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for following us. Hopefully we'll be able to help you with your home purchase soon.
All right. South Fulton. We
Yeah.
actually moved from South Fulton.
I like South Fulton. I think it depends on what part of South Fulton. South Fulton's a city of, I think, over 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. So I think the area still is a little shoddy, like around the Old National area, but parts of Camp Creek, and then as you go towards, I guess west,
is nice, yeah.
There's some very, very nice areas. We have a lot of clients building in that area, and like you said, we used to live over there. So the benefits of South Fulton are that it'll put you about 20 minutes to the city. You have great access to the airport. You have great access to the west side of town to get the Cobb County back roads to your Smyrna, Mableton, Austell. And schools are steadily improving little by little in Westlake, especially that district is doing very well.
Is it hard for a single mom to own a home when it's only one income in the household? No. Not at all.
I think my mom was a single mom, and she bought a condo for us when I was young. Doesn't matter if it's one person. I think a lot of times people think they have to be a couple or they need somebody to split it with. if that's your situation because your income just doesn't generate enough to qualify, then yeah, you might want to wait until you get that higher paying job. But you can't put limits on being single or married, race, religion, anything like that. It's really up to, hey, in this society, money talks. And if you make money and you have low debt levels and you pay your bills on time, then you could own a home.
Let's see. There's some back and forth on there. I don't know.
What if my employer... Okay, this one's a good one.
All right. What if my employer is located in New York? Will that affect me or
Speak
exclude me?
louder.
Oh. What if my employer is located in New York? Will that affect or exclude me from being able to purchase a home in Atlanta if I will be in New York half the time?
No, the biggest thing, if you work in New York, as long as your employer writes a letter, your HR department states that you have the right to work in, like telework in Georgia. You could work from anywhere, but as long as it says you can work technically in Georgia, and it's not going to affect your salary. Like say you were making $120,000 in New York, well, by being able to work in Georgia, your salary went down to $80,000. As long as it's dollar for dollar, your income's the same. They're going to want to see that as a primary residence. You can still buy a home working in New York and not being able to work in Georgia, but the difference is they're going to look at you as an investor as opposed to buying it as your actual primary residence. And that comes with consequences. Interest rates are going to be higher for investors as opposed to somebody that is allowed to work or their job transferred to Georgia.
All right. Oh, so much foolery going on in the comments.
Yeah, that's always a troll.
What happens if I have $500,000 in cash to show me how? Would you show me houses? If you're buying a house for $500,000 cash, and that's what I would show you.
And you can provide.
And you can provide that,
proof.
absolutely.
Yeah. I guess you guys were in Mississippi. Oh. What's your credit score need to be to buy a house? 620 or higher, I recommend.
Wi-Fi is cutting in and out. Difference between a realtor and a broker.
That's a good question.
You can answer that, Mr. Broker.
Well, I'm a broker. So the question was, what's the difference between a realtor and a broker? So before I opened up my own brokerage firm, GreatHomesATL, I held my license as a real estate agent. Every real estate agent has to hold their license with a brokerage firm. So when you think of brokerage firms, number one, you should think of GreatHomesATL. But after that, you might have heard of the big ones like Coldwell Banker, Remax, Keller Williams, those type of things. And I used to hold mine with First United Realty. Once you're a broker, you're the person that owns that firm, and you could have other real estate agents work under you. So you could also
say
sell
like
homes.
that, like under you.
So you are now
working
work
for
under
you?
me.
Why don't you say work for you? You see how people with
Work
power
for me,
get
work under
work
me.
for you. It's a team effort.
Right. But both a broker and a real estate agent can both sell real estate, but a real estate agent can't sell real estate without having a broker hold their license.
Right. That's a good way of putting it.
Thanks. That's long.
What do you guys think about East Decatur or Stonecrest?
I think that Stonecrest and Lithonia and East Decatur, I think it has some pockets of potential. I wouldn't say it's the most desirable area where people ask for things to look at homes, but I would say if your budget allows it, then definitely just get yourself into the game. Don't make that area probably your forever home, but definitely get in the game. And if that's the area that you can afford, definitely do it for sure.
If you go binding and then change your mind and have not sent your earnest money, is there a penalty or just the buyer changing their mind? You do get a 3-day right of rescission.
Yeah, it's a 3-day right of rescission, like before you send your earnest money.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that's not just good ethical business practices. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't go around to communities and, like, saying, I want to go under contract.
Knowing that you
having
really
an agent write up a contract. And then
because that's time. Yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's still somebody's time.
But yes, you can change your mind usually within the 3 days, and especially if you haven't sent in your earnest money.
See, Kathy, and I was calling her
Katniss.
See, I call her Katniss. I gotta start calling her Kathy, but hey, Katniss.
Yeah, tax. Good advice, Kathleen.
Let's see. Sure, thank you.
Typically, people earn this money down.
I think they're actually helping each
have
other.
A little conversation. I like how you guys are talking within the comments. That's awesome.
With new build and negotiations for asking price lowered as possible. Typically not. For a new build, if you think about it this way, if they lower the price on a new build, then that devalues or lowers the value of the other homes that they've already sold.
Yeah.
So on a new construction, you typically are not going to get anything off the price. What can be negotiated in most cases are things like closing costs, maybe some appliances, some window treatments, things like that. But the price is usually the price. So if you are looking at a particular home in a community or otherwise, just make sure that you can at least pay or you at least qualify for the...
And just being out there in the market right now, I mean, there's hardly any standing inventory. I think there's a community that, I think at one time, I think last week had like 5 spec homes and they went in a day. Like the market is really, really hot. So a lot of people are kind of forced now to actually, build from the ground up, which is a fun thing and a good process. But it definitely hurts people that maybe have waited to the last minute. So that's why we always say.
I was going to say too, the Sour Patch Kids are good. I just want to say, with the market being so hot and inventory being low, as well as interest rates, if you are in the market and you're doing a resale, this is not the time to play around with offers.
Right.
Because sellers are getting over asked.
I think the last 2 deals we had, or 2 deals that we lost out on, was because there was like 10, I think another one had 13 offers on it. And when we were talking about down payment assistance and all that, from a seller's perspective, they're going to go with the best offer. Think about it. When you buy a house, down the road, you're going to become the seller. So you're going to want to maximize your profits.
And you're going to be less likely to, like, the strongest offer is not going to be the offer that comes with the dependency of down payment assistance, right? The strongest offer is going to come from the buyer that is qualified and they don't even need closing costs and they can buy your house.
Right.
So
just be prepared. That's why we stress right now. Get that pre-approval. Know what you're going to need to put down.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because we have a couple of clients, actually, one of which they're always looking at a house that's above their own budget.
Yeah.
And they want to approach it, or they want us to approach it like, well,
can you get us?
If, like, the house could be, let's say, $400,000,
right?
And their max budget is $300,000,
right?
So they'll want us to go in this market. Well, can we go and just see if we can get them down? People are not taking $100,000 off of their house in this market. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
They're not taking really $20,000 off in this market because they're getting above ask. Yeah. So again, I guess don't
look at things that you're not qualified for. You're willing to. Yeah. To me, my best advice is, this is the most exciting time of your life, the most exciting purchase. Be willing to pay what the ask price is. If you can get something, like I said, a little help with closing costs,
great.
Maybe blinds thrown in, whatever the case may be. But if you don't, it's still going to be the house that you have prepared for your whole life.
Do you guys think home warranties are essential to have?
I mean, I actually think that especially if you're a first-time home buyer, I think it's very essential because you're not, you're used to calling up the landlord, the janitor, I guess the handyman of the community. When it's you that only owns the house, it all falls on you. So if that refrigerator stops working, that electrical outlet, I think it does make sense, and if you don't get a home warranty, then you have to just be a very diligent saver. Yeah. That means, like, you have to know, just like a car, something's going to go on it. Nothing's 100% foolproof, even if it's a brand new home. So that's why it's beneficial for a lot of people to go new, because usually there's at least that 1-year builder warranty, typically 210. But if you're buying a resale, or once that warranty ends, you might want to buy an extended warranty. But if you just don't want to do it, just have better saving habits so you have that emergency fund to fix things.
No, I mean, I would just say research and just look up. They all kind of are similar in terms of recommendations. Yeah. You just find the one, I guess, that meets your price point and has enough inclusions, for your needs.
So here's the scenario. I just got engaged, and my Myself and my fiance are looking to buy a house and
our wedding day is next June. We have down payment and closing costs. Our chances still limited. I mean, your chances are unlimited in that if you have your down payment and your cash to close and you know where you want to go, no, I mean, you could buy a house at any point. Yeah. But I guess the question for you guys to answer would be, would you want to have your marriage take place and then legally, you guys buy the house together and, maybe you get more money from the wedding and then you can get more, like, that's almost like just a matter of perspective. But I think as long as
if you're just open-ended, we don't know where we want to live, we don't know anything about Greater Atlanta, anything like that, then no, wait until after you get married, come here and visit. If you know exactly, you've been pre-approved, you know it's not going to affect the money for your wedding, you've prepared for it, you know the location you want to be in, then sure, go ahead. But that's a personal choice, of how you want to handle it.
Is it best to sell your current house before you start a new build? I think it depends. I think it depends on if you have to sell a house to get the next one. Some people don't. Some people do. Mm-hmm. Do you? Can you turn that into a rental opportunity and invest? I think it just will vary. It's not always best, but
they have what's called a contingency too in a contract where, like, say you're building a new home, you can put a contingency that your house has to sell by a certain date. So in that situation, you just want to make sure your house is list ready. If a house is good, it's a good location, it's in good shape. In this particular market in Greater Atlanta, it's probably going to sell with these interest rates. But I also would say, like, if you're, like Curt said, there's a stress involved in, like, having to sell the house to have the down payment for the next house. So I would say the biggest mistake you could make is waiting too late. I would say, like, if your house is being ready to be built in 6 months, be open to selling it sooner and then renting or staying with a relative for a few months. But you don't want to wait until the very end of that new home build, for sure.
All right. If you buy a home on a premium lot, does that add more value for resale down the road? I think it's expected to, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I think it's more on the builder side. They pay for certain lots, and say a house is a wooded lot or it sits on a cul-de-sac or something like that. I think down the road it could provide more value than a house that has no lot premium that's maybe backed up to what's called a retention pond or backed up directly looking at your neighbor or something like that. So that's where they're going to probably put a lot premium on. So I don't think you should expect it, with a new home build for sure.
And then
what are they barking at?
I don't know. I think that's
this one?
That one.
This is Emery.
Yeah.
Hey Emery, how's it going? At what point during the building process should we start looking for insurance and security? Do you guys have any recommendations? You can start looking actually right now. Like, we always recommend going through your car insurance company if they also have housing insurance here in Georgia.
Bundle and give you a better rate.
So say you had just say a Progressive, a State Farm, or Travelers. If you have your car insurance with them, get a quote, through them. We definitely have some recommendations. We have I think a couple people that are called brokers for homeowners insurance, and then they could basically gather information, the address of your house, your square footage, and shop it around to all the different insurance companies. So yeah, we definitely could help you with that. But it's never too early, and that's probably it's definitely going to be a condition of your loan. So the earlier you get on that and choose which company you want to go with, the better, for sure.
Is a pre-approval a hard pull on your credit? Yes.
Yes, a hard pull. And guys, don't get scared by that. So many times people are like, I want to go for a home loan, but I don't want to get my credit pulled. You have to.
You have to.
And it's usually somebody that usually has problems with their credit, and that's why they don't even want to be told that they have bad credit. But guys,
which is kind of crazy, because it's like you don't want to be told you have bad credit, but you want somebody to tell you they're going to loan you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, you kind of know, guys. Like, if you have a Credit Karma or something like that, it's not going to be exact what the lender is going to pull.
But if you got a 500 Credit Karma, you're not going to miraculously have a 750 when the mortgage lender pulls it either. So just be real. Like, that's the part. You're so nice about it.
But I'm going to also say, like, when somebody says like a hard pull means you're going to get dinged a little bit, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, something like that. But the next time you make a bill payment on time, it's going to shoot right back up that 3
Exactly.
points. So, regardless,
Did I go up or down?
there's no due diligence.
I think you went up.
Okay. I got pre-approved. What's this one?
That was a continuation of this one. Is it a hard pull?
Okay. What can a 762 score get me?
The best interest rate.
You guys, you have a great interest rate if you got a 762. It doesn't matter if it's 740, 800, 759. As long as it's 740 or higher, you're going to have a great interest rate. Any opinions on better.com for pre-approval?
I'm not familiar.
I haven't heard of better.com. I know that, like we say in every post, just DM us. We have lender referrals, with Ameris, Southeast Mortgage, Guild Mortgage, Homebridge. So some really good mortgage brokers down here in Atlanta to get multiple quotes from.
I think this is cut off from something because at 250,000 doesn't make sense
For your credit score, yeah. It doesn't matter how high your credit score to affect what you're going to be qualified for. That's going to be dependent on your income and debt levels.
Are you still allowed to put down a lot of money with the first time home buyer program?
That's kind of an oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing with a first down payment assistance program would mean you didn't have.
You don't have a lot of money, so
to put
you wouldn't need down payment assistance if you.
But a typical first time home buyer should expect to put 3.5% down payment.
Out of 3 credit bureaus, is Experian usually the highest of the 3?
I
No.
don't think not necessarily. No. Credit bureaus are funny. Sometimes TransUnion can be the highest, other times Equifax.
It just depends on who's reporting what to the credit bureau
and what time they do.
Yeah.
But again, they're going to take the middle score of those 3 credit bureaus.
Do you have an estimate of how much it would cost to finish the basement? Nope.
Not an estimate.
Don't even try to go.
Yeah,
You're trying
it really
to give an answer.
depends.
It depends. The size of the basement, what you're trying to, how you're trying to finish it, what you're trying to do it. This one over here is about to give you. Well, it'll probably be around this. No, we have no
You have
idea.
to talk to a contractor.
Call a contractor. Yeah.
Damn, honey, that was a lot.
No, but I'm saying you're about
I'm
to
saying
go.
on average,
What's the average?
25 to 30,000.
Where did that number come from? What if somebody
From
has?
experience.
What if someone has a 600 square foot basement?
Well, I'm just saying on average.
Is it gonna cost 25,000? No, it's not. So you're trying to get them to answer. My point is, we are real estate agents and brokers.
Right. We're not contractors.
We're not contractors.
Good. I clarified that.
You're so funny.
What credit unit do they use to pull your credit for homes? The 3 credit bureaus, the FICO score of the 3 credit bureaus.
Is down payment assistance a loan or a grant?
It could be both. For most times, down payment assistance, they're going to require you to stay in the home at least 5 years. I think that's how it is with Georgia Dream. You don't necessarily, it's not like you can't sell the house, but you probably are going to owe some of that money back.
Yep.
Because it's really the whole purpose of a down payment assistance is to reward somebody that has a steady job, makes decent enough money in the greater Atlanta market, pays their bills on time, good steward.
I'm laughing low key. I could just share this with y'all because y'all know how I get down. I'm laughing low key because everything that you said and who the down payment assistance program is really for. I'm laughing because do you know how many people out there they don't even check all 4 of those boxes?
That's true.
They don't pay their bills on time. They haven't paid their bills on time since they've been getting bills. What were the other qualifications? They're rewarded.
They max out their credit card.
They max out credit cards, but they'll come to the table and say,
But I need down payment.
But I need down payment assistance. They don't even understand who down payment assistance is really supposed to be assisting.
Right. It's for really well qualified people that just have not saved up enough.
Right.
Okay. Is Equifax the middle score? It will be dependent on the 3 credit bureaus. So once they pull Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, it'll be the middle score of those 3. I'm looking to relocate to the greater Atlanta area around the second quarter of 2021. Awesome. Well, we look forward to helping you for sure.
Did it end? It said ended.
No, it's still there.
What?
Should you start the pre-approval process now? I would say if you're looking to build a new home and you find a new home community, they are going to make you go for your pre-approval. It doesn't matter if the house is 6 months from being ready, 7 months, you're going to have to do it right now. If you're looking at a resale home within 90 days of purchase, you should be looking to get pre-approved. If you have any issues, any questions, not sure what you would qualify for, speak to the lender now, take the 3-point hit, and know what you need to do over the coming months.
Yep.
Because you don't want to wait till the last minute. If you need to be in a home by April, but you know you have things to clean up, you definitely don't want to wait till the very last minute. Thank you, Mark, for the educational videos last
I gave you
week.
some props.
Right. No, I really appreciate it when you guys watch the educational videos. We talk about that a lot because we see, we have almost 83,000 followers now.
Yep.
So we're very analytical about what posts are catching people's attention. And it's sad to say you could post a $1.4 million house with all this luxury stuff that a lot of our followers are never going to be able to really afford anytime soon, including ourselves.
You say anytime soon.
Right.
How about anytime ever? Like, let's
and
just
they
be
like
real.
the picture in their dream, and they'll say, "In the name of Jesus, I'm going to own this house." And but they won't spend the time to watch the educational videos and my video about starting at 25 years old and buying your first house and working your way up. So anybody that watches our educational videos, that tunes into these videos, thank you, because
seriously,
you're the ones that are going to end up being Great Homes ATL family members and being successful.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, all humor aside, because I kind of, I go in and we play off of that, but I think the content that we really want people to engage in and pay attention to are like the videos like this.
Yeah.
Are the videos like the Mark's educational, whatever
Video.
the topic is.
Like a lot of these questions, some of these questions about credit and all
they're
that,
answered
they're
in those
already
videos.
The videos are already out there.
And
guys.
so I think the content that we really want the most engagement in is just really sad that that's not where we get the most engagement. We get the most engagement in things that people will never, ever have.
Right. So if you guys appreciate the educational videos, what we encourage you to do is comment on it, because comments and questions back and forth, that will kind of bring it back up into the top of the news feeds.
Yeah.
Share it with your family and friends.
So other people will hopefully start to pay attention to it. Because
subscribe to our YouTube page, because we put a lot of those videos there too. So make sure you do that as well. Because a lot of these questions, like I said, if you just go on our profile, if you go on our IGTV, there are courses that I've really taken you through on how to buy a home and what we do and what's the process. So we appreciate those type of comments because it keeps us going.
Do you predict the market
to slow down? I don't see the market slowing down anytime soon. Now, we can't speak about any parts of the country, but
Atlanta
we were nervous what was going to happen with COVID, right? But like we've always said, if your job is secure, you've prepared for this moment, your credit is good, there has never been, I've been in real estate for 18 years, I never thought I would be able to see buying a $200, $300, $500 million house with a 2 or 3 interest rate in front of it. People are paying 9, 10, 15 for credit cards and car notes and stuff like that. To be able to give yourself an opportunity to lay down roots, set up generational wealth for a 2 or 3% interest rate right now is incredible. Again, the stress of it all, the stressing the point is being prepared.
Yeah.
It's not going into it blind. It's watching the videos, saving for your down payment, closing costs, and that will be it.
Can you buy a house more than you qualify for if you know you can pay for it? No. Because how that works is a pre-approval basically says the lender, basically in this case the person is letting you borrow the money, says based on what you presented, this is the most you qualify for. Right. So if you could afford more, you wouldn't need the lender's help. You'd be able to just buy the house outright. So no.
Now you could have a $300,000 approval and look at a $350,000 house. You just got to realize you're going to have to come up with $50,000, and most people in that situation don't.
Right.
So that would be the only situation,
Yeah. you think?
I think that's it. Any other last minute questions? I think we're winding down on the hour. We must have jumped on late because it's 9:28.
We probably did.
Yeah. So I think we could wrap it up now. I think this was really good. Any last thoughts for the week?
I didn't even really go off like that.
You did go off in that middle part.
Only because the people bought a car in the middle.
Why would you buy a fucking car? He said.
It's like they bought a fucking car.
That's true, though. That is very frustrating. There's nothing more frustrating than us spending weekend after weekend after weekend showing houses, putting in offers.
Getting you qualified for $15,000. For y'all to join late, we're wrapping up, right? Okay, yep. Cool. Okay, so we're back.
We're back.
So for those that join late as we're winding down,
yeah,
I went in and I explained the story around how we had clients that were, we had gotten them qualified for $15,000 down payment assistance. And we had told them, but you can't create any new debt, don't do anything, keep it very clean, and everything will be smooth.
Yeah, they bought a new car.
And they bought a new car.
That's infuriating.
That's infuriating. And then we become the bad guys because they couldn't qualify for a house.
Or they could have potentially lost their earnest money if they were under contract.
So anyway, I digress. Anyway, guys, it's been great.
Yep. We got a big week ahead. We got closings. We got walkthroughs. I got video tours to do. So be on the lookout. That's another thing, in addition to the educational videos, keep sharing, keep commenting on my video tours. I go out there to find you guys some of the best new homes and resales in Greater Atlanta to give you something to strive for. And if you see something you like, let's get you pre-approved and let's go under contract.
And I think my new desk is coming this week.
The new desk. I hope you guys enjoyed our built-ins back there. So we'll have another video maybe this week.
Custom desk coming this week.
Custom desk coming to match those beautiful built-ins in his home office. So
stay tuned.
I hope you guys can stay tuned to that. I'm excited to see that. We have no idea.
And I'm getting the car wrapped.
Getting the car wrapped.
My car's getting wrapped.
Getting the car wrapped.
It's going to be a good week. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I hope y'all have a good week as well. Make sure that you do what you can to keep your credit score high.
Yep.
Your debt low.
And keep those masks on. Stay safe. Should we go out with our masks on for a good message?
I'm tipsy, so I'll do whatever you say at this particular point.
Lean into it. Lean into it.
It's so stupid.
GreatHomesATL masks. What do you guys think? Hope you like it. Stay safe out there. Remember, staying safe is about taking care of not only yourself, but your neighbor. Treat everybody with love and kindness, and we'll talk to you guys hopefully maybe next week. All right. Talk to you soon.